by replicating human DNA. Now, what really blew my mind, guys, and this is going to blow your minds as well, but this is going to blow away the minds of your powerful listeners. This is the Treadstone hypothesis.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Edge of Wonder, where we have one of our favorite guests on our show who always drops some major truth bombs, Bishop Larry Gators.
Great to see you, Brother Ben and Brother Rob. You guys
Larry.
I got to confess, as always, you are the #1 show in New York City. I kid you not. You guys are doing groundbreaking work.
Well, you're everyone's #1 guest in New York.
I know.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah,
my
it is.
dad said the same thing about 2 days ago.
Really?
And you are everyone's guest. You are everyone's best guest, but best special guest. But you guys are doing groundbreaking work, man. That and you guys are so anointed by God. So thank you so much.
Thank
for
you,
the
Larry.
invite. Yes, it's
Thank
great.
you, Bishop.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Hey, so
Go right
yeah,
ahead.
please. You're gonna go right into it. I was gonna ask you, so what are you gonna talk about today? I'm like really excited.
Oh, I'm excited too, guys. Let's jump right into it. The mind of God in seeking Him for the past 3 days and 3 nights concerning what to bring forth to your audience all over the world, and because of these mass shootings that has infected not just America on a national political scale, but on a international global scale. And the mind of God spoke to me concerning a very unique topic, the Treadstone hypothesis. Now, to your audience, if they may not understand what the bishop is saying, let's go back to Universal Pictures sent out a powerful movie entitled The Bourne Legacy with Jeremy Renner. And in that movie, it talks about keywords like Operation Outcome, Operation Blackbriar, and Operation Treadstone. Now, with my 2 contacts within the federal government, they've been feeding me information, and because of that, I want to bring forth this very unique topic entitled the Treadstone hypothesis. I want to take a scripture from the word of the Lord in the gospel according to Saint Matthew, chapter 4, verse number 3. Because in order to understand what's going on in our country, in these rash of killings and drive-bys, even here in New York City, we have to look at it from a biblical paradigm. And so then in Matthew chapter 4, verse 3, the greatest teacher in human and spiritual history, Jesus Christ, had declared through Matthew in chapter 4, verse 3, and when the tempter, the serpent, who is Lucifer, L, Satan, S, devil, D, there's your LSD. When the tempter came to Christ, he said, if thou be the Son or the body of God, demand that these stones be made bread. And the Persian interpretation for the term stones is the term tread. And I find that to be very interesting. Capital T-R-E-A-D, tread. Then the analogy of stones. And then the Persian interpretation, though we're in the Greek Hellenistic New Testament, but the Persian interpretation of the term bread is a term called Blackbriar. If you remember, again, the Bourne Legacy, now it's part of the Jason Bourne series through the author Robert Ludlum. Okay, so in that 2012 movie, we have to examine what's going on today. Now, there's been 246 mass shootings in American history, going back from 2009 to 2021. 246 now because of what happened this past Monday. So 2,001 people had been shot and killed since 2009. 950 people have been shot and wounded. So then from 2009 to 2021, there's been at least 246 mass shootings. Now, according to a very powerful op-ed in the National Affairs website concerning presidents and mass shootings being in full-blown operation during their presidency, Barack Obama has had more mass shootings than any president. Barack Obama has had 24, count that, 24 mass shootings during his time in the presidency from 2008 to 2016. And so it tells you and I that what we have witnessed this past Monday was, I believe, a Blackbriar Treadstone operation. Now, somebody may say, well, Bishop, you're stretching the truth. No, my job is to stretch the human mind beyond human cognition. So Barack Obama, during his 8 years of his presidency, excuse the silence, that's deep state. Under his presidency, there were 24 mass shootings. Now, LBJ, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and G.W. Bush, Barack Obama has had more mass shootings under his presidency than any other of these 5 previous presidents combined. Now, when we look at the term COVID, and you guys have done a magnificent job concerning this global scamdemic, but the term COVID, if we circle every other letter, capital C, capital V, capital D, then we get a very interesting acronym for the term CVD, which has 2 distinct meanings: cardiovascular and cerebral or psychological vascular, which remains the last 2 remaining letters. That's capital O, capital I, which has a 2-fold medical interpretation: orthostatic intolerance and osteogenesis imperfecta. Now, somebody say, well, Bishop, what does COVID-19 have anything to do with these mass shootings for the past 22 years? Well, orthostatic intolerance is a disorder of the autonomic nervous system, and osteogenesis or genetic imperfecta is a genetic bone disease. So we have to dissect the etymology of words, because I've been teaching on my global masterclass for the past year, and we have classes on every Friday at 2 p.m. Standard Time and every Monday at 2 p.m. And we've been teaching our students from all over the world that there are 1 million words within the Eastern and the Western Hemisphere. Those are the words that we do know, 1 million. But out of that 1 million, we speak at least 170,000. So then 95% of these words are rooted in some type of cursing, like concussion, like chain of cuss today, or curse today, okay? And so these words are a historical ley line that has created a not just thousands of years, millions of years worth of words that have given birth to each other in the form of curses. Now, as you examine, there is a software company, before we get deeper into what happened this past Monday, as we're kind of laying the foundation for the Treadstone hypothesis. There is a software corporation called the Epic Software Corporation, capital EPIC, out of Madison, Wisconsin. Now, on their website, the Epic Software Corporation, or Epic Health Research Network, there is a heart on the home page, gentlemen, that inside it has ley lines of Baphomet ley lines. Now, somebody said, well, Bishop, you're looking into something that doesn't exist. See, the people who think along those lines, these are blue pill individuals, okay? They're busy trying to keep up with the truth like you guys are doing. So then to understand the Treadstone hypothesis, the Epic Software Corporation, they provide hospitals and clinics all over the world a software that will track children.
Really?
What?
In connection to the United States government. Now, my question is concerning this hypothesis called Treadstone. Why would a major medical software corporation be so interested in tracking children? Okay.
Seriously.
So they're tracking children, okay, and many of the Epic software satellite companies around the world, 50% of them, when you go into the lobbies, not all, about half, they have fingerprints of children's hands, which represents the cult of Molech going back 4,000 years to Babylonian history during the time of Nimrod, where Nimrod had a satanic rite where he would decapitate children's heads, okay, and decapitate their bones, and then put them in a cauldron called a witch's brew. So that brew today is called bone broth. So this Epic network, who are tracking children, not just here in the Western Hemisphere, around the world. Why? Because Epic is, one of their monikers is that they are a prestigious medical software corporation. Well, the term prestige in its original etymology interpretation, it means deceit. Prestige means an illusion. Prestige means betrayal. So, in order to understand what happened on this past Monday, we have to take a look at terms like Operation Outcome, Operation Treadstone, and Operation Blackbriar. Again, the text in St. Matthew's Gospel, chapter 4, verse number 3, two words that I want you and I and all of your powerful listeners to really highlight. It's stone and the word bread. So the Persian interpretation for stone here is tread. And the Persian interpretation for bread is the term blackbriar. So then, it is not by accident that Christ had exposed this 2,000 years ago. So as I'm laying foundation, now I brought some tickets from some cranes just in case you guys need to pick up your jaws from the floor, because when I'm going to get done today, this is, you guys already know this, but this is going to blow away the minds of your powerful listeners. All right, the hypothesis, the Treadstone hypothesis. So, in the time of Nimrod, in Genesis chapter 10, verses 8 and 9, it says, in Nimrod, and this is where we get the term Nimrod, was a mighty hunter, not for the Lord, before the Lord. So, the Persian term, even though we're in the Hebrew Rabbinical Old Testament, but the Persian term for Nimrod is Nimrodic. In the terms mighty hunter comes from the word tantrum. So these words that we use, like temper tantrum, well, the origin of the term tantrum, excuse my words, men of God, the origination of the term tantrum means penis. So these words that we use, like chain of custody, or concussion, or discussion, they bring and they invoke curses. So to understand what is going on in our country, we have to look at it from a biblical paradigm concerning the Treadstone hypothesis. Now, quickly, before we get back to the COVID-19 part, the text is Matthew chapter 4, verse 3, and Genesis chapter 10, verses 8 and 9. So there is a Persian term for the god Remphan. It's in the book of the Acts of the Apostles. Capital Remphan. So the god, and anytime to your students, always capitalize God when you're speaking of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Right.
Because many of my students have a bad habit of spelling. Lord forgive me for saying the word spelling, because spelling means spell, or cursive means curse, or cursing.
Well, going on that, curse, right? Like, like, oh, you just cursed, but then you also I'm cursed, right? Like, I'm going to cast you, so it's just weird, all of this. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
No, anytime, jump right in. If you guys see something, like broadcast, okay?
Yeah.
Or a doctor put a cast on you, okay? So it's these words that bring about a historical ley line of curses. So in other words, the entire global vocabulary of languages, dialects, and accents, they got to be overhauled. But the god Remphan in Acts in connection to Molech, the term Molech means molecular.
Holy cow.
So the Persian
molecular
term for Remphan is the Persian term Wanizi, capital Wanizi, which means Wansei. Now I'm thinking capital WANNSEE. Now, to you guys are great historians. Remember on the 20th of January, 1942, there was a meeting of high-level Nazis who met at the Wannsee Conference in 1942 concerning plans for the Jewish final solution. Oh man, this is heavy. So Wannsei is the Persian term for the god Remphan, Remphan. And Remphan is a fallen angel who was once called Raphael, according to the 4 volumes of Enoch and the 4 volumes of Maccabees. So Raphael was one of the 4 angels who was responsible to protect the 4 corners of the earth. And he fell. And so the term now, Raphael, is Remphan in connection to Molech and Moloch. Molech, capital Molech. Lech. This is where we get the term molecular. Or
dude, that's
crazy. So the term Molech also means molester. Then you have the term Moloch, Loch, which means molested. So,
Larry, what language are we talking about? Persian here still?
It's Persian, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the reason why, and people ask me an excellent comment on Brother Rob, because people always ask me, Bishop, why don't you interpret the word from Hebrew and Greek. Well, we limit ourselves as far as interpreting the word of the Lord. So we have to interpret the word according to the culture in which that verse was revealed. So Nimrod was not a Hebrew. Now, as a side point, not to make this a black and white teaching, every Hebrew is a Jew, but not every Jew is a Hebrew. These Jews today are not true Jews. The true Jews look like people that look like me. And again, I'm not making this a black and white paradigm. So we have a
but it did hail from Ethiopia, right? I mean, this is what a lot of people don't understand, is that whole area was where the original Jews were, right?
Yes, the Ethiopian, there you go, the Ethiopian Jews. Because Solomon and the woman named the Queen of Sheba, okay? So the true Jews are not just Jews by religion, but they're Hebrew by birth, because the term Hebrew means he rules. So these Jews today, they're only Jews by religion, but they're not Ethiopian Jews by birth. So then the Jews today are connected to Khazarian and Edomite blood out of Turkey and out of Mongolia.
Right.
So now, as a side point, I'm going to say something here that is going to blow your minds, not to get ahead of the Lord, concerning the Treadstone hypothesis. 1 out of 200 people on the face of this earth have a blood chromosome that's connected to Genghis Khan. Now, why do I bring that up? Because when you look at every mass shooter from 2009 until this past Monday, every one of them have the same chromosome. Now, I will send you guys that information, and I won't tell you where I got it from, because I do not want to be pushing daisies.
Yeah, protect your sources too.
Understand the spiritual aspect of this. I feel an anointing. So all of these shooters have the same type of Y chromosome that's connected to Genghis Khan.
Interesting.
So then it's not by accident that the sequencing of these events have taken place. This is the Treadstone hypothesis. But the 1C, 1NC, is the Persian term for Renfam or Molech. This is where we get the term like molecular, okay, or liquor, or licorice, or the Lithuanian term Hannibal Lecter, okay? So these terms must be dissected in order for your powerful listeners to understand the Treadstone hypothesis. Now, if you examine, NBC News have put out a op-ed the day following the shooting, and the op-ed came out on Tuesday, the day following Monday, and it said concerning the Aurora, Colorado deaths of 10 Americans. It talks about a pharmaceutical company by the name of AstraZeneca. Okay. Why would an ABC talk about this shooter and talk about that tragic event in the same time talking about this COVID-19 vaccine called AstraZeneca? Capital ASTRA. It means weapon in Persian. Then the term ZE means that in Polish. Then the term Necer, capital NECARE, is a Latin word meaning kills. That's interesting. So AstraZeneca or AstraZeneca means weapon that kills. I'm not saying that the shooter was inoculated with AstraZeneca. So that's a name of the company that was created by MI6 in 1999, the same year that the Columbine shootings took place in Colorado. So this term AstraZeneca or Zeneca means in Hinduism, it also means weapon or variant that kills. So there's a pharmaceutical company called AstraZeneca that's located in Cambridge, England. Now, Cambridge, England, which also houses Cambridge University, okay? Alyssa Crawley went to Cambridge, all right? J.K. Rowling, that has that tattooed on her forearm. We talked about what last year, okay? Solve E.T. Coagula, she went to Cambridge. Prince Charles went to Cambridge. And the creator of the Balfour Declaration, okay? So to understand what happened yesterday. There you go, right there. That's the link. So then Colorado...
Yeah, here's the article that you're talking about right here. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Fine, guys. You see? So it is not by accident. I believe, and I'm going to give you my opinion now. I don't want people to run with this. I believe that it was not by accident that NBC, NPR, and ABC was talking about this COVID-19 drug, AstraZeneca, on the same op-ed as this shooter. So the term here, now when you go to Wikipedia and type in Astra, capital A-S-T-R-A, then in parentheses, it says weapon, Astra weapon on Wikipedia. It is a demonic entity, okay, that is designed within Hinduism to replicate human thought by replicating human DNA. So this is in Hinduism. So it is not by
sounds like cloning or something.
It's cloning. That's exactly what it is concerning the Treadstone hypothesis. Now, what really blew my mind, guys, and this is going to blow your minds as well. Well, you guys probably already know this.
Maybe not.
Turning the term here, AstraZeneca, then also comes from a second Hindi word, and this word is estragenica. Allow me to pronounce that. Capital ESTRAGENECA. So that's a second Hindi or Hinduistic term for this pharmaceutical company called AstraZeneca. So this genetic or estragenica means estrogen.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds a lot like estrogen.
It means estrogen. Now, what is estrogen? Estrogen is a sex hormone development that regulates female reproduction to alter the sex of a particular woman. So it is these vaccines, even here in New York City, you got nurses who are here on visas, and they are told by the federal government, Brother Ben and Brother Rob, that unless you take the vaccine, your visa is going to be revoked. And then these nurses end up dying because of this vaccine. Let's break this down even further. Now, the term Astra on Wikipedia, Astra then weapon in parentheses. According to the Hindu Sanskrit, Astra also means weapon. There you go. Weapon.
I'll show this.
You see, allow me to wipe something of the anointing on. Listen. So Astra, there you go. Now you notice that there, it's a weapon. So Astra also means astral projection.
Yeah.
So
It says it's a supernatural weapon presided over a specific deity and imbued it with spiritual and occult powers that caused its effect or impact.
you see,
Later, no England. Anyway.
exactly. So these pharmaceutical companies are connected to a word called reset. We talked about this.
Yes.
Now, re is a suffix of the term set. Well, who and what was the original set? It was the thought of Lucifer. So when we say Lucifer's thought, that was the first set. Now, Klaus Schwab, in these demons, a part of this global Illuminati system, they want to revive the original set that came through the thought of Lucifer, of I. So Astra means weapon, but it also means Astra projection. Now, there's a term here for Astra. It also means Astrad Harad. Allow me to pronounce that. Capital ASTRADHARI. It also means weapon. I'm talking about the AstraZeneca pharmaceutical group, who had rolled out this vaccine also in the state of Colorado 2 months before the shooting. I'm not saying that they had anything to do with the psychological transformation of the shooter. But the Greek word, or it gets deeper now, the Greek Hellenistic term for Astradhara, which is capital ASTRADHARY, the Greek Hellenistic term is the term fluorine, from which we get the term fluoride. So fluorine or fluoride is the name of a fallen angel in Roman antiquity. So it is very important for your students to understand demonology according to cultures. So I'm still laying foundation concerning the Treadstone hypothesis.
Larry,
So-
what was that specific god, the fluoride god, responsible for? You know, because in paganism they always
Yes.
have like the gods all have these. Do you know?
Excellent, an excellent question. The role, the interpretation of fluorine or the Floridian or fluoride principality in Roman antiquity was to ingest man through his ingestion. It was to alter man's thinking through which how he would drink. It was to in DNA. So these words, and you see, when I never use the terms or the words Alice as far as looking in the looking glass or Alice going down the rabbit hole, because Alice also is pronounced as a lice. So I don't talk about Alice as a lice, these words. But getting back to fluoride and fluorine, it is a high-ranking principality in Roman antiquity, stating the god who ingests, or the god of the principality who poisons. So this fluoride that we've been putting in our mouths for decades, it comes from waste plants here in the United States. So they name these entities, what we put on our mouths, what we put on our skin, what we put, what we eat. 95% of these words come from some type of fallen entity. But fluoride or fluorine, its main objectivity or its main objective is to poison man's thinking.
Wow.
That's what the term fluorine represents in Roman antiquity. Excellent. Jump in anytime, guys. So I absolutely love teaching. So to understand, again, what happened on Monday concerning the shooting in Colorado, concerning this very unique topic of the Treadstone hypothesis, Astra was also a demon that summons. Now, these legal terms that you've been summoned, okay, legal terms that you have to go to court, legal terms like innocent until proven guilty. Well, those terms are also a part of this psyop, this treadstone psyop, because it goes back to the year of 1302 to a pope by the name of Pope Boniface VIII. Now, Pope Boniface VIII was also the same pope who created a global decree called Unum Sanctum. So Unum Sanctum means that all souls belong to the Vatican through the birth certificate. We talked about that before. So these legal terms to summons. So when you're summoned, are you summoned by the court or are you summoned by a lower court? So you're getting into witchcraft and divination. You're getting into summoning. So you are summoned to go to a court. Then you have to, you've been taught, and we've been taught, you're innocent until proven guilty. But according to Unum Sanctum, you are dead. So the term defendant means one who is dead, who needs to be resuscitated. So when a man or a woman or a child goes to court, they're not innocent until proven guilty. They are dead on arrival until it is proven that they can be resuscitated. This is the sick mindset of the Vatican order concerning Unum Sanctum. And so these words like astrology, okay, weeks, okay, and also terms like decommissioning. To be decommissioned means to be put to death or silenced. It is a Roman and also a Vatican term. What does this have to do with what went on this past Monday? Because this pharmaceutical corporation out of Cambridge, England, okay, going back to 2014, George Soros bought $325 million worth of stock in this AstraZeneca corporation.
Really?
And he also bought a major drug called Myalept, capital MYALEPT. So he bought this drug. Why? Now, wait a minute, he's not a doctor. He's not a scientist. Why would a multi-billionaire? What would he need with a drug that would treat people of Alzheimer's and dementia? So you're not dealing with people who are sane. You're dealing with psychopaths. That can be read on Cron.com. It is the December 21st, 2014 op-ed. Why is George Soros buying this beaten down biotech stock? So he bought $325 million, okay, not just of AstraZeneca stock, but also of the drug called Myalept, which is a rare, it's a drug to treat a rare disease of those who are suffering not just from dementia, okay, but from a condition called lipodystrophy. That's another topic for another day. Now, quickly, I'm just kind of building up to this crescendo of what happened this past Monday. Now, Colorado shooting kills 10 U.S. health officials, raise concerns about AstraZeneca vaccine. That was that NBC op-ed. Now, why would now think about this. Why would NBC talk about the Colorado shooting in concert about the AstraZeneca vaccine? Now, 79% of this vaccine, according to AstraZeneca, said it's effective. Well, if it's only 79% effective, it tells me that the other 21% is killing people, or it's altering people's personality, that they become a Manchurian candidate. Now, listen here. When you go back to 2009, up until this past Monday, 246 mass shootings, 24 of which were under Barack Hussein with 1,000 different aliases Obama's watch. It tells me that they want to do one of two things, the deep state. Number one, they want to take away your guns and my guns, and that's not going to happen. And number two, it's a part of a plan to distract you and I from what's going on over here. So it is the art of distraction. So why would NBC News, including NPR and ABC, talk about the Colorado shooter in connection, in concert to the AstraZeneca vaccine? Because they're telling you it is not by accident that this shooter, who's 21 years old, and all of a sudden he's a Muslim now. So, and then the following day, I'm not going to say president, but Joe sniffing, cripping, demonic Biden sends a bill to Congress concerning gun control. Okay,
Right.
So
Yeah.
this is the treadstone hypothesis from Matthew chapter 4, verse 3, where stone in Persian is tread, and bread in Persian is briar or black briar. So when we look at Boulder, Colorado, now it's going to get deeper here now. Jump in anytime, guys. When we're talking about the treadstone hypothesis. In 1999, you had the Columbine shooting. The same time period, MI6 creates a biopharmaceutical corporation. Now listen here. There's a great distinction, gentlemen, between a pharmaceutical corporation versus a biopharmaceutical corporation. Pharmaceutical corporation, they are in connection and constitute medical centers from around the world and clinics from around the world to provide safe vaccines. That's from a pharmaceutical standpoint. But a biopharmaceutical standpoint, these companies like Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, okay, GlaxoSmithKline, Eli Lilly, the Wuhan Institute of Virology, they are run by intelligence agencies like the CIA, the NSA, the Ministry of State Security, which is the Chinese equivalent of the American CIA. These biopharmaceutical corporations are under contract by their governments to create different types of variants or pathogens. Now, as a side note, there is a scripture, and people say, well, Bishop, why do you always start with the word of the Lord? Because to understand this hypothesis called the treadstone hypothesis, you have to understand this from a spiritual paradigm. So in Acts chapter 28, verse 3, and when St. Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks. Now, stop right there. So, a bundle of sticks. Now, in the House of Representatives, in the back wall, you see two column poles, two Roman column poles, with going around these two column poles, okay, in the form of two snakes, one on the right-hand side and one on the left. That logo, that object is called a fasces, capital F-A-S-C-E-S, or mace, which means fascism.
Oh, that's weird. I never noticed that.
Oh my God. So then, this term fasces, capital F-A-S-C-E-S, it represents a bundle of rods like Paul picked up a bundle of sticks in Acts 20.
Interesting.
So a bundle of rods, and among them an axe with a projecting blade, born identity, before ancient Roman magistrates as a badge of authority, a symbol of power over life and limb. So you notice life in limb. So it represents the term fasces or fascist, or where we get the term feces. This is the mindset, the psychopathic, sociopathic mindset of our government, that they left God and they have left the first Constitution. Matter of fact, let me give a newsflash. The second Constitution of 1871 has been dissolved. It was dissolved on that day when those patriots went to the Capitol. Another topic for another day. At the House of Representatives, that term fasces, or those two Roman column poles, okay, with blades going around the poles, right? Like barbed wire fences, interesting, in front of the White House. It also represents the term mace, M-A-C-E, or a cop mace me. See, these are words going back to the Vatican. So that term, fasces, F-A-S-C-E-S, or fascism, or feces, it also means mace, the black nobility, and the doctrine of reception.
This is what you're talking about right here, right?
Yes, they are. That's it. That is it. That's on the wall on the back of the House of Representatives, where President Trump spoke many times during his State of the Union address. So anyone can look that up on Google Images. Excellent. So that represents fasces. That is a Roman Vaticanized legal term. That the deep state has power over life and limb. So we have to get at the core, the fulcrum of what it means to be a part of this deep state, signifying the Treadstone hypothesis. That's it. And if we can, I don't know if you guys can.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah. Sorry, hold on, you guys. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, you guys
Sorry.
are great. I love y'all so much. That is called fasces, right? Capital F-A-S-C-E-S.
Wow.
Fascism or feces.
Dude, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
And check it out. The caduceus. Oh wait, never mind. That's not.
Well, no, but
No,
look at
no,
the
no,
shape.
sorry,
Of,
that's
the shape
the
of those
eagle.
vines, though, is like
Yeah.
the same thing as those snakes coming around
Yeah.
in the center.
It
It's
is.
really weird.
See?
Sorry, this is very sensitive. Every time I try to move it, it's like zooms in too much or too small. So
That's an excellent,
Yeah.
excellent point. In that term, fasces also reveals the term concoction.
oh wow.
Capital CONCOCTION. A concoction then produces a cocktail. So those poles are also in the form, excuse my words, of penises. These are six
It's crazy.
going back to the Vatican. A cocktail, and I'm trying to clean this up. That's a term out of the homosexual power structure during the time of the Caesars. And I won't even go into that, okay? So a cocktail through a concoction or a witch's brew, which is also called bone broth. And children during the time of Nimrod was not only dissolved in a cauldron, but many children, the remains of them, were put into furniture. And that's another topic for another day.
What?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
put into furniture as a gift unto the gods, beginning with Molech, Astaroth, okay? And so concoction. And then you have the term decoction. Decoction represents to digest the concoction. So when people said I had digested my breakfast, what they had said I had deconction my breakfast, or I had concocted my breakfast. You see, they carry curses. And this is where we get the term to concoct, to decoct, to liquor, licorice. Now, as a side point, the term licorice also means decor. So when somebody says, well, Bishop, I had decorated my home, what they're saying that I have concocted my home or cursed my home. Now, people say, well, Bishop, that's too much. You see, that's why people can tell you the starting five for the Los Angeles Lakers, but they can't tell you what's on the NASDAQ report. Why? Because you're dealing with people who are bound by demons. Okay, so quickly before we give the floor over to you for Q&A concerning this Treadstone hypothesis. So fasces, right? And so it's at the House of Representatives. That's also connected to the Treaty of Verona or the 13th tribe.
Hey everybody, that's all the time we have for episode 1 with Larry Gators, but this is just heating up, so don't go anywhere, and thanks for watching.
I got to confess,